This is Starr Radio
Hi everyone, it's your girl
UK.
Bebe Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur, and the host of your weekly business show, Bebe Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Get ready for this.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's really good to see you looking safe and well. And thank you for tuning in again today to Bebe Means Business, the show where you get to talk about everything to do with business. And we answer all the questions you've ever wanted to know about business, but you were embarrassed to ask. This is the show where you get all your information, education, tips, advice, and on everything and anything to do with business. And we have brilliant, absolutely brilliant guests on this show, industry experts who help you on your journey to not only be doing well in business, but helping you become financially free. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, I'm your host, Bebe Clement, and I run a group of small, successful businesses. I'm also the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur, which you can purchase on Amazon or you can get from my website for £12.99. Just take a minute, if you will, take a minute to connect with me online. My Twitter handle is @BebeClement. That's @BebeClement. And on Instagram, it is Bebe_Clement. So just take a moment and connect with me because I'm always giving out a lot of gems that will help you on your business journey. Now, last week we talked about how to position yourself as a business leader in the marketplace. Listen, nobody wants to be following just anybody. People like industry leaders. People like trend setters. So if you want to position yourself as the go-to person in your space, in your industry space, then you have to be perceived as a leader. But in order to do that, you as an individual have to develop certain characteristics that lend themselves to leadership. And we looked at some of them last week. And I'm just going to quickly recap for those of you who were not able to join us. So some of the things that you must have as a business leader, one of the things you must have is you must have a very strong work ethic. You must work hard. And for those of you who are still thinking about whether you should go into business or not, if you are an employee and you think you're working hard, let me tell you from personal experience, you will work 10 times harder on your own business. So you must develop a good work ethic if you're going to be a business leader. You must have integrity. You must have integrity in your business. And we looked at the different things that might symbolize. Integrity towards your customers. So when you tell your customer that a particular piece of work is going to be ready tomorrow afternoon, they shouldn't be chasing you on Friday morning and they can't get hold of you. So you must have integrity in your business ethics. You must have integrity in particular towards money. So clients, not only clients, but those that you collaborate with, and as you know, I'm a strong proponent for collaboration in the marketplace. Those that potentially would collaborate with you, it is important that they know that you have integrity in finance matters. Otherwise, nobody's going to collaborate with you. And you cannot do this on your own. The day of everyone doing it on their own in some little corner of the world, that day is gone. We must collaborate. But there won't be much collaboration if you are not trustworthy or you're not known to have integrity in financial matters. You must be able to delegate. You can't do it all yourself. You can't do it all yourself. So you must have a good team that understands your vision, that you've imbibed your vision into, and that can run with that vision. Don't try and do everything yourself. You will burn yourself out. There's no point. Besides, you need to be able to surround yourself with people who are smarter than you, better than you, who have better contacts, that can, take you along in your journey. I also talked a little bit about how you must nurture talent. I think one of the most important aspects of being a business leader is immediately you take somebody on, begin to look for their area of talent or their area of expertise and begin to nurture that. And one of the ways you nurture that is you put them in positions that will help them develop their skills or develop their talent, where they can grow. And I spoke about if you are looking at entry-level people, then of course it's fine to hire those kind of people that can grow into the job. But if you're looking at strategic positions, you must have people who know what they're doing, people that you don't have to micromanage, people that you don't have to hold their hand. You must have those kind of people. So that's what we did last week. But today, get ready for something completely different. Today, we're going to be looking at the A to Z of doing business in Africa. And the reason why I thought we'd do a show on that is because, come on guys, let's be honest, the European market is shrinking by the day, and we haven't even had the effects of Brexit yet. Once we Brexit fully and totally, the market is going to get even smaller, and who can anticipate the changes that are going to come? I mean, in this day and age of every day brings something different, nobody can tell what's going to happen from day to day. Who knows the effect that it's going to have? But the important thing is, if you look at governments, you look at our government in the UK, for instance, they are immediately already, they're looking for trade deals with other nations. They're looking further afield. They're looking at partners that they would not have looked at a year ago. We've seen the trade deal that the UK has just done with Japan. There are going to be many more like that. So us as individual business owners, we must take a leaf out of that book and realize that this is the time to start looking further afield. And I think that this is Africa's moment. I really do. Don't believe the media. The media will feed you an image of what is going on in Africa. There are people doing business successfully in Africa. Not without its challenges, of course, not without its challenges, but indeed life is a series of challenges. Don't let that deter you. So, you know, whenever I go to Nigeria, because I do business in Nigeria, whenever I go to Nigeria, I'm always amazed by the fact that half the plane is full of Caucasians, full of foreign nationals. And sometimes I engage them and I ask them, what are you going to go and do in my country? And they would tell me, oh, we're going to do business. There's lots of business to be done in Nigeria. And so, you know, it's important that those of us who are African don't miss the boat, just because we've been scared into believing the images that we've been presented. So I thought I'd bring on the program a gentleman who has made the transition, and he's done it successfully, thank God. And I thought it'd be interesting for him to come along and tell you a little bit about his journey and give you some advice and tips as to how to do business successfully in Africa. So it is my utmost pleasure to welcome to the program my friend and my business colleague, Mr. Tunde Ogurinde. Tunde, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you very much.
You are very welcome to the Bebe Means Business Show.
Thanks, Bebe.
Okay. All right. So tell us a little bit about you. You were in the UK previously. How long were you in the UK? And what were you doing here?
Okay, yes. So I did my master's at King's in London at the Strand, and graduated in 1992. And yeah, I was looking for a job, you know, trying to, we Nigerians, we like to work and hustle. So I didn't want to. So what I ended up doing was, I just I applied plenty of jobs, but I took my first proper job at Burger King. I thought I'll do it for 6 months, until I find something better. 17 years on, I was still at Burger King. But I think that kind of speaks to some bit of my growth, really. Firstly, never turn any job down, because out of what I thought was going to be 6 months, became something that, became very permanent for me. I learned a lot from the whole training program that we were put through. It was very rigorous, because pretty much that's how I learned how to run a business, because as a store manager, that's what you're doing. All aspects of profit and loss and managing all employee relationship, industrial tribunal, if you had to go and deal with those things. So yeah, so that was, I was there for 17 years, and then around about 2009, I thought, right, I think it's time to head back, and because I'd seen some of the trends. I heard in your entry comments about, the growth of Africa. You think Africa time is now. I think Africa time has always been there. People just failed to recognize it. But there were some trends that I saw. And in 2009, I decided, okay, it's time to start to head back and seize some of the opportunities. Yes. So that's what brought me back here. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what I'd like to do is we'll talk about the specific. We'll talk about you personally, and then we'll extend it to wider issues. So you went back, and what was the reaction of your family when you said you wanted to go back, or was it a joint decision?
Okay, so family being two types. Okay, my family back in Nigeria, my aging mom and dad, of course, exceptionally excited. But my wife thought I totally lost the plot. She thought this guy's lost it. We should call in for some help, I guess. Well, I say that with a little bit of exaggeration. I think it was more of a case of, are you really sure about this? And I think that is not to be unexpected, because, the images you're fed about, Nigeria, Africa as a continent is, it's dangerous. Why do you want to do that? And this is us that we constantly were coming back to Nigeria for holidays and seeing family. So it wasn't alien to us, but still there was still that apprehension, trepidation. So it was challenging, but hey, we all decided to finally take the bold step and kind of, give it a go. And I still come back and forth. Our family's still over there. But yeah, it's been an exciting journey building a business consulting. Yes.
Okay. Did you have a transition plan? I'm a strong proponent for transition plans. Did you have a transition plan, or did you have a plan B? Like, okay, if it doesn't work out within 6 months, we're back here or something. What was the plan?
Okay, so I actually, again, I'm one of these that you take a decision and you make the decision right for you. So I didn't go in blind. I didn't test the depth of water with both feet. But what I decided clearly was, look, I need to look for an opportunity to come and do something back home. And interestingly, the opportunity came through another friend who was actually asking me to help recruit for people who wanted to come back home in my industry, which is the quick service restaurant industry, which is what I've done all my life. So I was like, yeah, what's wrong with me? I mean, because he kind of felt, no, it's probably not for you, family and kids over here, So what I decided to do was to explore that opportunity. So that became my plan A, to say, okay, let's explore this. And then I took on the role and decided to do that for a few years as an employee here. So that was my transition. I didn't go kind of, let me just go and hope and see. Actually went through the walk route. And that helped, in certain ways to learn some hard lessons and use, other people's money to make some mistakes and understand the terrain until I decide to do something different. Was there a plan B? Well, yes, there was. It was always a case of, if things go belly up, I'll come and take a job anywhere and just start again. Hard work never kills anybody. Hunger does, though. So yeah.
Okay. Couple of things I wanted to touch on from what you've said so far. One was the fact that when you went to Burger King, you only planned to stay there 6 months, but you mentioned something. You said you learned a lot from being in Burger King. And one of the things that I often say on this show is there is nothing like a dead-end job. And there is no job that doesn't have something to teach you. And I think it's important that people, when they look at their jobs, specifically people who have an entrepreneurial calling, when they look at their job, they should look at their job as a place to learn, not just earn. Because you never know what kind of skills that you're going to pick up. What do you say to that?
No, absolutely. And I tell, because, I do chat, of course, to my employees and people outside our business. Look, the way you behave in your current job if you have any entrepreneurial ambitions, is exactly what you're going to do when you're on your own. So if you're turning up late to work, if you're being lazy about what you do, when you have a boss, can you imagine when you're your own boss? You're
Yeah.
going to do. So I think working, nothing, and to be honest, not everybody is going to be an entrepreneur because it's hard
Yes.
work.
Yeah.
So once you're there, if you have those ambitions, I think it is absolutely critical for you to learn as you earn, as you say, and pick up those skills. And honestly, both at Burger King and of course back at Chicken Republic, those two were very vital for what I currently do.
Okay. All right. So let's continue to navigate the journey. So you went from Burger King to Chicken Republic. Now, Chicken Republic is quite a well-known brand, specifically in Nigeria, and I think in South Africa as well. So you went there as an employee. What was your role there?
So I initially went in as a systems consultant. The idea was to kind of go around all the departments because I'd done obviously various roles whilst in the 17 years in Burger King. So it was really to enhance their efficiency because KFC was also coming into the market. So they saw them as a powerful threat and they needed to reinforce. But what I ended up doing within kind of a month of joining, I was then offered the chief operating officer role.
Wow.
Within a month, I guess I said or did some things okay, I think.
You can say that again.
And then, of course, that was now more responsibility, a little bit more challenging. I now had the whole operations of the business under me, and of course KFC was a formidable challenger in the market. They just launched, they were opening stores right next to us, and so yeah, it was an interesting time for my career because it allowed me to really dig deep and try and really now build the business again with the impression as if I was a total 100% shareholder of the business. The business had to succeed. So it was with that approach that I helped to maybe, I wouldn't take all the success or whole team effort to grow Chicken Republic to perhaps what it is today in a little way. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I think one of the messages I'm getting from some of the things you said is if you are going to make that transition, even if you're going to go into business, to have a perhaps not soft landing, but a softer landing, it might be an idea to actually work in an industry that you're planning to go into first of all, to understand the terrain and stuff like that. And of course, skills vary from place to place. So perhaps what you're doing here and work that works may not necessarily work in Nigeria. So I think it's a good idea, based on what you've said, to do that, to start with actually being an employee, if you can. Again, that of course will help with your cash flow initially, which is key. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then gets you to understand. Please go on. Yeah.
So, Bebe, apart from the cash flow, it also allows you, especially if you want to continue to build a business in that industry, it also allows you to build relationships, which is a better currency. Part of your introduction was, you talked around integrity. People now see you that you have a certain type of skill set that may be uncommon in the industry. It allows you to, if you then decide to go off on your own, your network is really very strong now on the ground. It's different from kind of popping in, visiting for 2-3 weeks on holidays, saying hi to people, smiling and going away. They don't know you. They'll laugh with you. They'll take you out. But when you're working here, it's different. And apart from the cash flow as well, it also allows you to be able to unlearn a few things because things are different. How things are done are slightly different. So, yeah.
I think that's a really, really important point that when I first of all started doing business in Nigeria, I really didn't appreciate. And that's the whole issue of people needing to see you there. It's almost like they feel that if you're going back to the UK or going back to America, wherever you've come from, you're not really vested there. And because you are not really vested there, they're not going to be fully vested in you. So I think that's really important for our listeners to know that physical presence in Africa is vital where business is concerned. One of the things that we do, we have a legal magazine called Law Digest, which I'm sure you probably know about, and that's mainly what brings me to Nigeria the most, because we do award nights and we do legal conferences on the back of it. But we find that doing things like email business doesn't work as much as a face-to-face business. It just doesn't work. Oftentimes, people don't even open their emails for weeks on end. So talk us through the kind of things that we take for granted in the West that just don't work in Africa.
So I think firstly, and I won't speak for the whole of Africa, but and even though we have businesses in Ivory Coast, Ghana, and Senegal, so I think I know a little bit. Firstly, we're very social people. We like to do business face to face. I know it's very cliche, but people buy people, and in Africa, that is a very true saying. When they meet you, they understand who you are. They see you regularly, so yes, they know that you're you're committed to the whole process. But most importantly, out of sight is out of mind. You're not there. Somebody else is willing to do the same job, probably better at a cheaper rate. So they soon forget. It's not intentional, but just that real social fabric of our society where people like to, congregate and meet. It works well in business here to your advantage, especially if you're the outgoing type, or you must make an effort in doing that here. I guess the other bit is around, just trying to, for you to be able to change people's mindset. It's got to be consistent and persistent. So they say it takes 3-4 weeks to change a habit. But if you're here for a week and then you go off and you want people to act in a certain way, there's very little continuity in what you're trying to get them to achieve if you're not around. So I think those are my thoughts around those points. Yes. Okay.
The downside for me that I find when I go to Africa is that whole meeting thing can also. It can become ridiculous because I can't even name the number of times that somebody will say, let's have a meeting, and one timekeeping doesn't mean anything for a start. And then, of course, because particularly in Nigeria, the whole traffic situation doesn't help. So you can have a meeting fixed for 6, and for traffic's sake, you don't even turn up till about 9. So that doesn't help in itself. But I do find that the whole concept of meetings can become ridiculous because oftentimes you'll be asked to come to a meeting where what you went to do could have been done over the phone or could have been done, a text, that kind of thing. Sometimes it's even just handing over a file. Sure. And for some reason, they want to see you physically hand over the file. I don't get it. I got to be honest. I don't get it. But I guess you just have to play the game.
Absolutely, that's what it is. And those are the things you can't find out except you're on the ground. You've experienced it, and what's that saying? Obstacles are what you see when you take your eye off the goals. So if you want to get it, and that's the way business is done, you can either try and change behavior around the people that you can influence. I'll give you a quick example. People in my workplace, I have meetings, of course, regularly because they need to be had, maybe once a week, or the manager and performance review once a month. If you're late to my meetings 5 minutes, you pay a fine.
Wow.
So you can change behaviors where you can influence the people, but where you're dependent on somebody else who could say, meet me at 7 p.m. Firstly, I will turn up early. I can control that, but I have no control on when the guy turns up or the lady turns up. So I may have to be late. So patience is critical in this place. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Now, let's go a little further. So after you left Chicken Republic, what happened? Or why did you leave Chicken Republic and set up your own business? What happened?
Yes, I mean, it was doing okay. I felt my job was done, really. So part of what, like I said, there was a competitor who had come into the market. My job spec, as I saw that, was to, one, make sure that we made the business financially sound to be able to raise funds, because we were basically trying to raise quite a lot of funds, and we had two companies, or two entities, a private equity fund and an IFC, who came and looked at the business, and we were able to raise a substantial amount of cash for the business. Once that was done, because I felt that was a very challenging bit, because it meant closing stores, it meant re-imaging stores with very little cash, it meant managing very tough cash flows, because the business was really bleeding at that point. I think at that point I felt, this is done. Raised the funds have come into the business, it's time to move off and do something else, which is when I then set up QSR Consult. QSR Consult of in Quick Service Restaurant Consult, because I felt, okay, everything I've learned in Chicken Republic, I think I can now do this by myself, but helping a lot more other businesses, both businesses that were coming into Nigeria and Africa as a whole, because of course we both have a common friend in Rwanda who I was then thinking, I could do stuff across here. I could also, I had a chap who had come back with me from Burger King to work in Nigeria. Again, I was able to influence him. He was from Cote d'Ivoire. He had now moved on to Ivory Coast. So the relationship I built in my time here was now thinking, I have a job for you here. So I felt, okay, I could do this a bit more, or do it by myself, and now wanted to be against my own boss. Those were the reasons why I left. Yes.
Okay. And what challenges did you face in making that transition?
Okay, of course, from working in a by yourself, I think one of the biggest challenges is just the discipline. I think I like to think I was always disciplined at work, but the discipline to apply yourself to work, because I mean, the reality hits you anyway after a while, where you do your expenses and you kind of look at your cash flow and you have bills to pay. But here in the UK, and you kind of think, I need to get on with it. But I think generally the usual challenges in Nigeria of just, knocking on many doors and not getting any answers, and putting a lot of quotations in and not getting any results, but you keep going. But I think that's not uncommon. That's everywhere for an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You need to knock on doors. So they're not any more significant. I think it was just the run of the mill. I think I also had, and this is where I say relationships matter, because even when I had set up the QSR Consult, for 2 years I was consulting for Chicken Republic. So it wasn't as bad. I was consulting, not fully in operations now, because part of what I've done was HR and training in Burger King. I then took that skill set now, because rather than look at the whole operations, let's now, try and focus what I was doing in one particular area that I felt maybe the job was not complete. So I was able to consult for 2 years after I left, which gave me a bit of a soft landing again. But again, if I was a bit of a prat and a bit of a nuisance.
Exactly, I was going to say that. Yeah.
Wasn't to get that gig. So that was critical. Yes.
I think that's vital, actually, because sometimes we're so focused on where we're going that we don't appreciate that what we're doing now counts a lot. It counts a lot. And indeed, if you're not careful, dictates what happens in the long term. So, I think that you are to be commended for that, because it's not everybody that you have as an employee that if they go and do their own thing, you actually, you even want to ever see the back of them again, to be honest. Sure. So for them to take you on now as a consultant says a lot about you and your work ethic. And again, I would encourage my listeners to take that on board. One of my pastors used to say, be careful how you close the door, because you never know when you need to go through it again. So I think that's really important, that wherever you are serving, and that is what you're doing when you're working, whenever you are serving, you serve to the best of your ability and you serve with integrity. because it's the right thing to do, not even because you want to get something out of it, but because it's the right thing to do. But in your case, and for those of us who are entrepreneurs, it works well in the long term. It works well in the long term. Yep, I like
Absolutely.
that. All right, today we're going to take a really short break, and I mean short, and just let everybody know that this is a live show. I'm going to be taking questions when we come back. If you want to ask any questions, and some questions have already come in, but if you want to add some questions to that, you can just hook us up on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @Starr Radio UK, or you can text or WhatsApp on 07539 661 744. That's 07539 661 744, or indeed email us at info@starradio.uk, and as soon as we get back, we will be taking some questions, and then we'll be talking a bit more to Tunde Ogurinde. Tunde, thank you very much. We'll be back in a moment.
No, thank you.
Hi everyone, it's your girl Bebe Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur, and the host of your weekly business show, Bebe Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Get ready for this.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And for those of you who are just joining us, you are tuned into the Bebe Means Business Show. And today we're talking about the A to Z of doing business successfully in Africa. And it is my honor and my pleasure to have on the show today Mr. Tunde Ogurinde. And he's been talking us through his experience of transitioning from being a member of the African diaspora in the UK to going back to Nigeria and setting up his own business. Tunde, I know you have to leave pretty soon, so I'm going to take a couple of questions that I'm going to ask for your help with, and finish off with you, and then come back to some more questions later on. Okay, so the first question we have is from Bastard, and it says, "Dear presenter, I came across your program accidentally and I'm glad that I did. I've been considering business opportunities in Africa for a while, but I've always developed cold feet. I am Ivorian and I've been in the UK for 17 years. I'd like to explore doing business in Senegal, which shares a lot in common with my country. Is it essential to have a business partner in any country that you'd want to do business in, or can I do it alone?" That's the first question. "And if a business partner is required, where and how would I go about finding one, and what should I be looking for in selecting a business partner?" Tunde, it's all yours, hon.
Okay, so we actually do business in Senegal as well, and Ivory Coast and Ghana. We have offices there, as in Just Food West Africa. Which obviously QSR Consult, I can talk to you about that later, evolved into that. But I think business partners, I certainly know in most of those countries, you will need a local to do business, certainly in Ghana, 100%. So what do you look for in a business partner? It's such a difficult question because it really depends on the business. But I think in terms of people skills, I will always put, if you have integrity, everything else is okay. Because once that's a solid foundation to start on. Of course, they need to know what they're doing in terms of the competency for the business. So if you want to go into the food business, yes, you can have integrity. A nice plus to have will be some experience already doing the food business in Senegal or Cote d'Ivoire, or any of the countries. But I think the biggest thing is really not to be fearful. I don't know if time will permit, to actually show you around our place here. There are businesses here that look really good, that do great job.
And that'll be interesting. Can you walk and talk at the same time?
I can walk and chew gum as well. So okay. Yes, absolutely.
Now you're showing off.
Yeah. So
right. Yes, let's be talking as you go.
I'll see if I can flip the camera over. I'm not sure if I'm able to do that. Okay, so I've been told yes, I can. I'm just trying to find out how. So the point I was trying to make anyway is the point I was trying to make is you can do business successfully across Africa. You just need to take the step over. So what we have here is our finance team. I think over here
Sorry,
they're probably looking.
what's the name of this company for our viewers? What company is this?
This is Just Food West Africa.
Just Food West
This
Africa.
is Just Food West Africa.
And this is your company?
Yeah. So basically, what happened is when I finished with Chicken Republic, I set up you as a consult, as I said, and then what I ended up doing was this company approached to buy my company and give me some equity to be the managing partner. I had always, again, worked with this company, but as a consultant and did bits for them. They were also my suppliers at Chicken Republic. And again, I go back to relations. Interestingly enough, my number one customer today in Just Food is Chicken Republic in terms of total volumes. Yeah. So relationships do work. But so that was the finance team. I have, sorry, it's going to be a bit jumpy, as you'll imagine. Just the different offices. Maybe what I should have actually done is done this on in the conference room. But that's a boardroom. With full connectivity.
So what do you supply? What does Just Food supply?
We supply ice cream powder and equipment. So we support the hospitality industry. We also make ice cream products ourselves. But before people buy in terms of equipment, so what we have here, and this is on
all right, we're losing you a bit. You might have to go nearer the Wi-Fi. We're losing you a bit.
Our test kitchen and make any investment in equipment. So anyway, but you can see, I think the producer is showing some of the stuff of the brands we do. So so we also make ice cream locally. We make ice cream cones locally, and then there's a ground floor downstairs. But anyway, so hopefully that answered that question before I went on. Yes.
Okay. Cool. All right, so you need business, you need local partners. You can't just go in there yourself. You need local partners. Yeah, definitely. Okay.
Yes.
All right, I'd like to go into a bit more general stuff, so to speak, that I want you to help me with. So we've listened to your journey. Excuse me. Yeah, I was going to ask, how big is your company? What are we looking at? How many staff do you have?
We have about 100 across Africa. So Ghana, Ivory Coast, about 147 is what we have. 147.
Okay. And what's your turnover like?
Turnover is, I'll probably give you in pounds now, although if I was to convert with the new pound rate, it's certainly over $1 million. It's certainly over $1 million US.
About $1 million US. That's fine.
Over.
Not to be sniffed at.
We try.
Yeah. Well done you. So I think it's important because if people can see it, they can be it. I think it's important for people to know that this is possible, because for some people it's just they just write off Africa, and I think that's a mistake. It is possible, ladies and gentlemen. You can see a live person here who has done it, and is talking in millions, and it's unlikely that he'd have been talking in millions if he was just in the UK. So it can be done. So do take that leaf out of his book. All right, I want to talk about wider issues here. Now, as you're probably aware, or I don't know if you are aware, but economists have looked at certain things that impact upon whether you will do well in a particular country. The things that they take into account, they've coined a phrase, they've called it SLEPT. And the things that they take into account are the social impact, the legal impact, the economic impact, the political impact, and the technical impact on your business.
Okay.
So I want to talk about a couple of these. When you need to go, just let me know. I just want to talk about a couple of these.
Sure.
If you, so we can see how, in your experience, these things indeed do impact one's ability to do well in Africa, doing business well in Africa. So let's deal with the social aspect, because one of the things that people say to me, and indeed I have, from my experience, found is that one of the biggest hurdles for me is the mindset of the people. Is the mindset of the people. And I know you said that, you know, you can influence your little corner of the world, so to speak, but we don't always operate in just our little corner of the world. How did you cope with the mindset of the people? One of the examples, of course, the one we all know, is the whole corruption issue. Everybody is on the take, everybody. And I find that really wearying, I must say. Also, everybody's not just on the take, but they're seemingly looking to take advantage of you. And again, I find that very, very wearying, because I have to be able to operate with at least some degree of trust.
Sure.
What was your experience in relation to that, and how have you handled it?
I think it's been, without a shadow of doubt, it's been challenging. And I guess, you know, if I look at certainly where I am now, we try as much as we can. And I would hand on heart say we haven't done anything unethical as a business. It is tougher. People will frustrate you more, but you need to have the long-term view, because firstly, from a self point of view, you're hurting yourself and your business. I need to be able to sleep well at night too. And I think, you know, there's a wider societal impact that people just don't understand the ramifications long term by, you know, participating in those sharp practices. But I think I talked around, you can only change people one day at a time, and the people around you. The only other way is to get involved in some sort of a pressure group or some political organization to try and make a wider change to society. But honestly, you know, those are the only two options. Politics, yeah, I've dabbled, I've tried to influence in the background, but we try and remain apolitical in our business. But I think in terms of influencing wider societies, it could even be something as small as, you know, in the state that you live, the community you live. Do you hold a position? Do you try and change people around that? Well, yeah, I mean, the challenges are real, and you can only influence as much as you can. So I have control in my business, but I don't have full control in my estate. So of my society where I live. So I for example, I'm one of the ESCO members in the little community I live. So that's how you can make some changes. Whether you attend church or mosques, you can change society that way. But politics in any way is a strong way to make those changes, but I have not gone into that, and I don't think I'm going to go into that for some personal reasons. But not to say people shouldn't, because you need to be engaged politically to make change. Yes.
I think that's an interesting point, because we may have a tendency to have tunnel vision when it comes to our business. I'm just there to make money, but I think you're right. I think there has to be a wider vision, that you are also there to affect change. And so the only way you can affect change is by getting involved on some decision-making level. Like you said, it might be politics. It might just be, I don't know, being the president of your local neighborhood watch or something like that. But you must get involved in the wider society. You must do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, so let's have a look at, so that's the social stuff. Let's have a look at some of the legal stuff. Now, excuse me, some of the problems that the West have, of course, in doing business in Africa is that if anything goes belly up, they feel that they don't have access to legal recourse. What are your views on that?
I'm not sure that is true. I think, again, that's media stuff. You know, the case in point, PID case, that took Nigeria to court as a whole country. Yes, they eventually lost, but people have successfully, you know, taken, you know, things to court and won, even locally, not foreign companies. So it is challenging. It is tough. but the laws are there. So I think it's, the implementation that can be a bit of a challenge. But if you pick a good lawyer like yourself, Bibi, and the people that you work with, I'm sure in case people are versed in international law. I don't see. I mean, our company lawyer is absolutely super. Well efficient, and we've done businesses. We've been before we do any bit because we partner people in the U.S. Taylor ice cream machines, Rational in Germany, Fabri in Italy. All these countries put us through a lot of hurdles before we can represent them across West Africa. So I mean, Lakeland Dairies, which is our biggest partner, they're a British company, Irish, and we've been partners for over 30 years at Just Food. So they have no issues, and we've had no legal issues at all with them. So yeah, I think the rule of law is there. It is tougher to get, some things done. But if you have integrity, you actually don't have any issues. So it goes back to that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, one of the things that we do, we have a company that helps our clients get over that hurdle, and that's what we do is we help them establish a presence in the West. So they don't necessarily have to physically be here, but we help them establish a presence. And by that I mean we help them register a subsidiary of perhaps a Nigerian-based or African-based company. We help them register a subsidiary in the UK. And then we, because we have a law firm, our law firm acts as company secretary to that subsidiary. We do things like do their accounts, we do their tax, we provide meeting room space if they're in town, things like that. But we find that, or our clients tell us that helps them a lot. Particular company comes to mind, particular recent client comes to mind, and he owns what they call these banks, not the commercial ones.
A microfinance bank.
A microfinance bank. They own a microfinance bank, and they were trying to raise finance in the West, and they were having some difficulty in doing that. But once we were able to open a subsidiary for them, it was almost like the investors were put at ease a bit more, and he didn't have any problems thereafter. So there are ways over these things. There are ways around these things. It's a matter of getting advice, talking to people like yourself, and see how this kind of things can be rectified. All right, so we've done the social, we've done the legal, the economic. That leads me to another question here. Question says the idea of expansion. This is a question from Nosa. Nosa, hi, thank you very much for tuning in. Nosa says the idea of expansion into Africa has been on my mind for a long time, but I look at Africa as a land of unquantifiable risks, and this scares me. How do I enter the market with a minimal amount of risks and identify the markets which are most suitable for our products and services? Well, I think I'm going to help a bit there. I think that depends on what it is you do. No, so you haven't said what it is that you do, but as regards minimizing risks economically, Tunde, what would you advise?
First, again, you don't bring all your cash all at once and put it all in and say, let's hope for the best.
And people do that. I can't get my head around it. I've had people who will sell all their assets and just cash in and go to Africa.
They have a good feeling. Firstly, visit. Just visit first, and go and understand, even if it's a week or two, what's happening in that sector. Talk to people in the industry, and then go back and forth and see if you're able to do that business, you can see yourself, because I think the mind's eye is important. If you can see yourself doing business in that part of Africa, but you need to have gone a few times. It's not a lock, stock and barrel, pack your load and put all your cash in, because, I wouldn't do that even if, I was doing business in the US, let alone Africa. So, I mean, what's different? So I think you treat it like you go anywhere else. So I'll just be cautious. Most importantly, pick your partners very well. Make sure you're well researched and you do your due diligence before you get into bed with anybody. I think that's really what I will say. Yes. And I'm going to jump in the next, and have to jump on another call.
Okay.
In the next few. Yes.
All right, Tunde, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being on the program. It has been a great help, I'm sure the feedback from our listeners is going to be fantastic, and I'll let you know. Just to say, I still remember the last meal I ate at your company. Thank you so much. And I'm looking forward. I was looking at you've introduced a cocktail range?
Yes, we have. Yes. Just
wait.
behind somewhere. Yes, we have.
Okay. I can't wait. Just keep it on ice for me. Whenever I'm in town, I want it. So I'll be there.
Excellent.
So thank you so much. All the best.
All right. Thank you.
All right then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was our guest for today, Mr. Tunde Ogumide, and he is the Managing Director of Just Foods West Africa, and he's been talking us through the A to Z of doing business in Africa. So I just want to quickly round up with a couple of things. I was going to talk about the political effect on doing business. One of the issues that we have, particularly in Nigeria, is sometimes there's political instability, and that political instability can affect your business quite a lot. One is, of course, at the moment the exchange rate is very poor. I think it's about 600 and something now naira to I'm talking specifically about Nigeria. So you can imagine the impact of that, the devaluation of your money, basically, or your assets, in a very short space of time, because at the beginning of the year it was only about 300, 400. Now it's gone up to 600 to 1. So, and this is to do with the kind of political decisions that are being made that, of course, impact on the business world. So you have to take all that into account as well. There are no guarantees. There really are no guarantees, and it's not as stable as the West. That's the truth of it. It's not as stable as the West. But having said that, that can also work to your advantage. And I think, for me, what is even more important is the fact that, like I said earlier in the show, whenever I go to Nigeria, half the plane is packed with Caucasians. So, and they're going to face the same problems that I'm going to face when I go and do business there. And I've discovered from speaking to them that where we see challenges, they see opportunities. That's the truth. They see opportunities. So we also have got to adapt our mindset. Yes, it's not everything is going to be in place like we have in the West. The electricity is going to be an issue, water is going to be an issue, and all that kind of thing. But having said that, if you can see past that and keep your eye on the goal, there is money to be made in Africa in such a way that perhaps you can't even make in the West. I mean, you heard Tunde speak about their last turnover was over $1 million USD. He wouldn't have been making that if he was. There are very few black-owned businesses that are making that in the UK in particular. So don't be deterred by the challenges. Rise to the challenge. Get as much information and knowledge as you can. Like Tunde has advised, spend time in the country that you want to do business in. Look for local partners. You can't do it all yourself. Look for local partners who understand and are used to the terrain. Partner with them, and then keep your integrity. Keep your integrity. Don't bow to the pressure to compromise your business ethics. Keep your integrity. Pull people up to your standard rather than you drop to theirs. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you very much for tuning in again today. It's been another exciting episode of Bebe Means Business. I'd love to get feedback from you. If you've learned anything from today's program, please just tweet it, text us, let us know that we're doing well. My producer likes to hear those kind of comments, keeps me on the air. And then we will be here again this time next week. And next week, I think we're going to be talking about what kind of business structures you can have, the different kind of businesses that you can have, whether you should be a sole trader, whether you should be a company limited by guarantee, whether you should go into partnership, whether you should have a franchise. It's important that you understand the business structure and the business model that you want to go into, because it's not one size fits all. So tune in this time next week. And in the meantime, stay safe. And as I always say, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life. Bye-bye.
Hi everyone, it's your girl Bebe Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur, and the host of your weekly business show, Bebe Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.